All right. For the fact that we exhausted our first 40 minutes, or we are done with the first session of this lecture series, we are now on to the second session of the lecture, but still on that same item, philosophical assumption. We have seen the 5 paradigms for carrying out a research, and it depends on where you belongs to. There is this person, Ojalanke Gwanyama. He brings out 5 or 10 claims. But if you are able to understand these paradigms, you will not find that claims are strange. So they won't be strange to you, and you quickly understand the entire rationale behind carrying out the research. But it depends on the area you are researching on. You depend on your mental, because there is one saying by Arabs people saying, "Likulli makanin makalin, hakadhalika likulli makalin makanin." So let's go on. Looking at these 5 paradigms, or you can use them in any aspect of social science research. For the fact that we are information scientists into either information systems, information technology, information science, information records and archives. So I bring out people that are into information systems. So I will task you to look at the people who are in information science and records and archives. I'm saying this because we are from one of these areas, okay? Still, this philosophy, there is what we call archetypes, archetype of philosophy or element of philosophy. We've been hearing about ontology, epistemology, axiology, this, and that. But what are these things? What are these elements? They are elements of philosophy. They are going hand in hand with the philosophy. So how do they relate with each other? Or how do they relate with the paradigms? We have the paradigm, positivism, interpretivism, social critical realism, pragmatism, social critical theory. So how does these archetypes relate to those paradigms? But let's quickly look at each of these. One, we say ontology. What is ontology? Yes, ontology in research is the what? Is the essence of reality. We say this is a reality. But ontology is looking at the essence. Why this reality? Why this glass? That is the essence. That is the ontology. Okay? That is the what? The being and it is essence. This is a cup. What is the essence of it? That is what the ontology is talking about. So in positivism, we are looking at whether ontology or epistemology of positivism. Likewise, interpretivism, critical realism, pragmatism, and what? Social critical theory. What are they? But before then, let's quickly look at these archetypes. I say ontology is the essence of reality. Why and how this reality occurs, how it happens. We have what? Types of the reality. there are two major types of reality. We have positivist reality and critical reality. Remember, here as a paradigm, we have critical realism as a paradigm. But the main issue there is critical reality. Okay, critical reality. So here, one of the type of what reality is critical reality and positivist reality. The positive reality is about understanding the reality at shallow, at the surface level, which is called naive reality. Studying the reality at the surface level, not at the deeper level. While the critical reality is the study of reality at three stages. At the three stages. One, the reality has to be studied at the what? At the empirical level. At the empirical level. And the reality level, as well as the real level. Empirical, okay, that is the one. Okay. The actual and the real. Take for instance, a tree. The surface, the leaves, and other branches are the empirical. The stem are the what? Are the actual, while the root is the real. So the critical realism is the study of reality at the surface, at the actual, that is the empirical, the actual, and the real level. So they are looking at the reality at the whole lot of everything. They are looking at the causes, the issue, the problem, why it happens, how it happens, where it happens, okay? How, where, why, when it happens. That is the critical realism. That's why here we said the condition, okay, it condition and shape the human behavior in a stratified manner at the empirical, at the actual, and at the real. Is looking at these three things. So that is the two major types of reality. But the category of reality, because we say reality is what? Multidimensional. It's multidimensional. One, we say the reality could be physical. Could be physical. For instance, a glass, a pen, a cup, sun that we're seeing, the mountain, they are all physical reality. Anything concretized, when we say concretized, something that you can see it, that exists, okay, that you can even do something about it, some. That is the physical reality. Then we have ideation. Ideational reality is the reality that some people just think of coming up with something. That is ideology. For instance, here I said a Boko Haram. Haram is a group of people that come together with a different mindset, or IPOP, or Shi'i people. All these ones are people that come together with a different ideology, with the different thinking. Therefore, reality could be ideational. And reality could be artifact, okay? Something like what? Museum, the computer or IT artifact, or a zoo, they are all artifacts. And it can also be a social, okay? Places like a bank is a social environment where people gather, make transactions, okay, performing one or two kind of activities. A government, organizations, A matrimonial marriage is also a social phenomenon. Institutions, universities, okay, they are all social environments where activities, social activities are going on. We have esoteric, okay, esoteric reality, like a what? Black magic, all these subus and other illegal things, they are called esoteric reality. They are reality, virtual reality, poverty, okay, racism, stigmatization, they are all reality. It's something that exists. We say anything or something that exists, that is the reality, which is called existentiality. And the last but not the least is cultural. Culture. People have different culture. Fulani people have the way of doing their things. Yoruba people, Tibi people, they all have their way of doing things. That is the cultural reality. All these things are things that exist, which is called existentiality. Remember, here I'm just talking about the reality. I'm not talking about the archetypes. The first archetype, as I mentioned here, is ontology. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
And we have epistemology. Epistemology is the study of essence. I bring this dimension of reality because for us to understand the other aspect, we need to look at these things. That's why I say, let me quickly bring this dimensionality of the reality. So the epistemology in a study, we know that it is the study of what? Of the essence. The study. Ontology is the essence, the reason for that existentiality. Epistemology is the study of the what? Of the reality. The study of that essence, the study of that object, the study of that reality. That is epistemology. Epistemology. Please, do you understand the difference between the two?
So,
You didn't. Ontology is the essence of reality, while epistemology is the study of that essence, the study of that reality. Are we together?
yes, sir.
Good. Then we have axiology as the archetype, as the element of philosophy. Axiology in research is talking about the ethics. For you to conduct a study, were you able to protect the people's interests? Remember, we used to give what? A letter to them telling the participant or respondent saying that their immunity will be protected. That is the ethics. If you are dealing with the human elements, were you able to protect their interests? The bias, you will not take side. Taking side, okay? Aesthetic, the information you are looking for, or the research, or the phenomena you are investigating, you are able to take time to find out that issue or problem, or you are able to investigate or to provide enough information on that particular phenomena. That is aesthetic. The value, were you able to provide the full value of that phenomena that you are researching? There are three different types of this value. We have the value free. Positivism, they are value free. Interpretivism, they are value bound or value laden. While criticalists, they are what? Value aware. What this is saying is the value free, meaning what they have, they will take it the way it is. That's positivist, is value free. Whatever we have, whatever it comes, we will take it as that, analyze and report back. Value laden. Whatever you receive from the participant, you have to bring out your voice. You have to come in. That is the value laden or value bound. Okay, the value bound on you as the researcher. If you hear from Mr. A, B, C, D, after putting it together, you have to say your words. That is the word, value bound or value laden. Then value aware. That is for critical realist. Value aware. Whatever that be, they will look at it again in a deeper manner. They have to be aware of what they are doing. They have to understand it very well for them to agree on the outcome or of the responses from the respondent or participant. That is the what? The value. So that is the axiology. If you are asked of the axiology, what is the axiology in this your study that you are carrying out? Maybe you are a positivist, so you know that you have to protect the participant or respondent interest. You should not be biased. You will not take side, okay? And the value is what? Value free. If you are interpretivist, you know that it is a value bound. Critical realist, value aware. Methodology. Remember, we are all at the elements or the archetypes of philosophy. Methodology, we all know that one is a strategy used to investigate the phenomena. The methodology or the strategy being used to investigate that particular phenomena or that particular reality. The method is the technique used to conduct the study or the research. Okay? Then the rhetoric. When we say rhetoric, it's a language of communication, meaning rhetoric is about contextualizing yourself in a particular domain. After contextualizing yourself in a particular domain, you need to be using the terms, the wording of that particular domain. If you are a medical doctor, they have their own terminology. Even from their writings, by you seeing the writing of a doctor, you say, oh, this one is their terminology. Therefore, that one is their rhetoric. We information scientists, we have way of doing our things. So coming down to to this paradigm, looking at the paradigm, if you are a positivist, anytime you had the word respondents, you know that research is a positivist, is a quantitative. Okay? Now, if it is participants, you know that it is a qualitative. You will not use the word participants in quantitative research. That is the rhetoric. Please, are we together?
Yes, sir.
So that is what we call rhetoric. In every aspect, in every domain, they have their own terminology, they have their own wordings. So you all need to understand these things as the archetype or elements of philosophy. Do we understand? Then,
Yes, sir.
logic of inferences. Logic of inference. I'm sure this is not the first time you had the word deduction in research. Or deductive, or deduction, or induction. In other words, inductive. Deduction or deductive, it has to do with positivism, or quantitative. let me use this word. Deduction is a quantitative kind of research, meaning when a researcher starts reasoning on a basis of a premise, on a basis of what? Premise, meaning you have or you want to carry out a research as a quantitative researcher or as a positivism or as a positivist. You just, maybe for instance, just pick a theory. You say, I'm going to use this theory. So you start with the theory and just look at the theory. From there, you say, oh, I'll just kickstart my research. I'll find out this particular phenomena. That is, you are an inductive researcher. By the time you just start with the theory, you are an inductive researcher. But for the inductive is the other way around. In this time, you are not starting with the theory. Rather, you try to come up with a theory. Even if you are going to use the elements, because that's why in positivism, you see, you use the variables of the theory. That's why you are hearing the word variables. Dependent and independent, mediating or a mediating variable or convenience variable. So you pick them, you may likely pick them from the what? From the theory, meaning you use them either to test the theory or to confirm the theory. But the theory is already there in existence. That is, you are reasoning on a basis, on a what? On a premise. For instance, here I say lawyers, elders in a community, mathematicians, they are all into this kind of research, this kind of study. Somebody has been raising up, honestly. Somebody cannot hear me. I don't know. Others are hearing, but others cannot hear. I don't know. So that is the deductive. Lawyers, what we mean by lawyers are using this is when you go to the court, they will, after maybe hearing from the respondent, from the person who either bring a case or whatever it is, they will use similar cases, a case that is similar to that one, and judge. Okay? That's they start reasoning on a basis on a what? On a premises. Likewise, elders in a community. Maybe somebody did something wrong. They cane him, they judge, they punish him. So if somebody did another issue, another thing, or commit an offense, so they will use similar punishment to that particular person. Okay? The same thing with mathematicians. They solve a problem using this way. Okay, they will continue following that same way, solving the problem. Okay, the problem can be solved in this way. Okay, they have to follow that same way, okay, to solve that particular problem. That is the work of what? Positivism. Deduction as a logic of inference. Then for induction is the opposite of deduction. It usually starts with what? Empirical situation, and then use the empirical situation to create or come up with a theory. You may start with a theory, but you are not using the theory just to test or to confirm. You might likely use 2, 3, 5, 7 different theories, but at the end, it is expected of you to come up with another theory on your own. that people will say, oh, this theory is developed by so person. That is the what? The induction, okay, or inductive. Here we have this as a what? Top down. It starts from the top. It starts from what is in existence. What is in existence, and find out what is the issue or solution to that problem. They use what is there, what is in existence at hand, and provide a solution to a problem similar to what is in existence by way of informed guess, testing of the hypothesis, and testing empirical situation. While inductive is what? Bottom up. Okay, bottom up. It starts from the empirical situation. Okay, we are here in the field, we want to find out this particular problem using this phenomena. Okay, so now let's look at the phenomena. We will not go and look at what is in existence, interpretivist. They will look at, okay, so how are we going to solve this problem? How and where do we start? They will start up until they get to the last solution of that problem. Are we together? That is deduction. Then we have abduction. Abduction as a logic of inference. We have abduction, we have retroduction, we have retrodiction. Abduction, retroduction, or retrodiction is used by critical realism. Is used by critical realist people. Deductive is for positivist. Inductive is for interpretivist. While abduction, retroduction, or retrodiction is for critical realist. This abduction, as I've said here, is the father of reasoning. It uses imagination and what? Creativity for them to come up with a solution to a problem. But they are using what is called empirical situation as well as theory, meaning they are using induction and deduction at the same time. They are using induction and deduction. They are using what is in existence and they are using the empirical situation. They will now be comparing and see, okay, I have this, I have that. Okay, how do I compare it? After comparing, can I have what I want, what I'm expecting? Can I get the outcome? Fine. If I can, good. If I cannot, I will now drop it and pick another maybe theory and look at another empirical situation. It's there like that till when it gets to the last outcome or solution, or when they prefer a solution to a particular problem. That is the what? Abduction. The retroduction, it is more of what? Imagination as well, the ability of abstract. The researchers start with the empirical situation, are retroduced back and infer for the future. Meaning, you have a problem. Okay, yes, this is the problem that I want to solve. Okay, I have to keep this problem aside. Then I have to think, is there any similar problem of this nature that happened? If there is, I have to refer back to it and look at it. What happens? How it happens? What is the result or the outcome of that problem? I'll now bring it and apply it here. That is the what? Retrodiction. Okay? Retrodiction, referring back to what happens. Okay? Okay, retroduction. Why retroduction? Bringing of retroduction to a different context, meaning you have challenge. You have challenge somewhere, sometimes, and you are now giving a problem, an issue, a problem. So you can at the same time use that method you use in solving that problem and solve this particular problem again. This one is about ways of solving the problem. But that one, you have already solved the problem. You just bring the results and apply it here. That is retroduction. While retrodiction is the way you use in solving the problem, you now come and use that same way in solving this particular or current problem beforehand. So in a nutshell, this is what we have in philosophy: logic of inferences, deduction, induction, abduction, retroduction, and retrodiction. Induction is for interpretivist, deduction for positivist, abduction, retroduction, and retrodiction. All these three things are for critical realist researchers. That's one. Two, archetypes. We have ontology, epistemology, axiology, methodology, method, and rhetorics. They are all archetypes and they are element of philosophy. They are going hand in hand with philosophy or with the paradigms. And this ontology is about the essence of the reality. Why the reality? This one is the study of the reality. That is epistemology. Axiology is talking about the ethics, whether you are biased in research, whether you provide enough information, whether you involve yourself in the research or you have not involved yourself, that is value-free or value-aware, methodology, method, and the language of communication in research. The types of reality, physical, ideational, artifact, social, esoteric, virtual, and cultural reality. They are all types of what? Realities. We have the paradigms: interpretivism, pragmatism, positivism, critical realism, critical social theory. These are the paradigms. So you should know where you belong, you know where you belongs to, and anywhere you belongs to, that is where you'll be going towards. Knowing the founders of that, check their papers, how they write, what they write, that one is depend on the what? The phenomena. Quickly, the 10 basic claims of Ojalanke Gwanyama. These are the 10 basic claims. What he's saying is, in any research, in any type of research that you want to conduct or carry out, one, you have to ask yourself, okay, the questions that the researcher proposed to investigate, is it relevant and persisting in the field of study? Not the research questions, the main phenomena, the problem, the reality. Is the problem persisting? Is the phenomena that you want, is the research or the study you want to carry out, is it a problem to the society, to the community? Is it worth researching? If it is worth researching, fine, you go ahead. If it is not, you have to think twice. Don't just go and bring anything and say you want to research on it. That's one. Second, the researcher has demonstrated a command of the literature, of the field of study in which he is attempting to contribute. Meaning, okay, you want to conduct a research in record and archive. And is that literature or is that problem that you want to research on, is it in line with the area of record and archive? Or maybe information science or information system or information technology? Is it in line in that particular area? The theoretical approach or perspective that the researcher has selected, that is the theory you want to use for the inquiry, is it appropriate for investigating the research problems? You should not just bring any theory saying that you want to carry out a research using this theory. The theory has to be in line, in accordance, in conformity with the what? With the problem. The fourth one, the researcher has demonstrated a command of the pragmatic assumptions. We have just finished talking about the paradigms. So is the researcher, have you demonstrated the command of the pragmatic assumption? What is the assumption of interpretivist? The reality is subjective. The sense making of reality must be subjective. There's judgmental rationality. It welcomes different people's view. Are you in that line? Or is it reality is objective? The sense making of reality is objective. The judgmental rationality is falsification. Okay? Or critical realist. The reality is objective. The sense making of reality is subjective. Okay? The judgmental rationality is what? Is welcoming other people's view. This is what this statement is saying. The researcher demonstrates command of pragmatic assumption. The fifth one, the methodology that the researcher has selected, is it appropriate for investigating the research question? You should not just pick any methodology, okay, to say that, oh, I'm going to use maybe exploratory in place of positivism, okay? The sixth one, the empirical situation selected for the inquiry, is it appropriate for observing the phenomena? You will not just go to the hospital and say you want to find out whether students are understanding their lectures in the hospital. That is not the right context for you to go and investigate the phenomena regarding this issue. Or you want to find out the people, the diabetic people attending their clinic, you now go to markets. It's not the right situation that you are to go. The methodology has been applied in a systematic manner and carefully documented to allow the replication or corroboration by other researchers. If you use a particular methodology, have you applied it in a systematic way, in a right way,